Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Hit it, Frank! What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Broad Motherfucking Topics. I'm your host, Kim Congdon, here with my co-host,
Alex Scarlato. Hi, Kimmy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited.
Me too.
You want to intro our guest?
Sure. We have a very special guest in studio today from the Bonfire, from MTV's Guy Code and Guy Court.
Goddamn right, dude.
And Billions.
Don't break the code or I'll take you to court.
Times Billions. It's Dan Soder, everybody.
Woo!
Thank you. 2-2 in Guy Court. I had a 500 record.
Whoa.
I lost to Duval, Little Duval, and Charlemagne, and I think I beat John Gabris and someone else.
They were I don't even understand. They were keeping score?
We would argue cases in front of Donnell Rawlings. He was the judge. And it was like, it would be like, my friend got a foot massage. Is he gay? Guy Court. And then you would have to argue it.
I like that.
Yeah. That was one of the only like 8 Mile moments I had was I was doing this like Guy Court case with these two guys that were from these two black kids that Charlemagne is like super famous. Mm-hmm. So they love Charlemagne. He was like interviewing Kanye at the time. It was like, remember that big Kanye interview? Yeah. So they were like, Charlemagne, and I was just I had a terrible haircut. I got my hair cut too short. Okay. So I look like a Marine in like a boxy suit. And these two black kids are like, I'm not talking to this fucking white kid. And I'm like, hey, I have to write jokes, so like, I want to find out kind of what's going on. And the kid's like, man, just the whole time giving me like
just
corny.
Annoyed at you.
He's a corny white dude. And I'm like, can we write jokes? Because it's important for the show. Finally, they're talking to Charlemagne, and Charlemagne's like, oh, when y'all headed back? And they're like, oh, we fly out tomorrow. And he's like, where are you guys from? And he's like, oh, we're from Denver. And I was like, I'm from Denver.
Hell yeah.
I was like, I'm from Denver.
That's an in.
We do have something in common.
Guys, hello.
We're
Altitude.
practically family.
Outside of skin color, we're the same. And
they were like Denver, Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm like, oh.
Denver Street.
Denver, Tennessee. I go, that sounds made up. But they were like, yeah, we're from Denver. And I was like, what high school did you guys go to? This is a common question. And they're like, Kent, Denver, the richest high school in Denver. Like by far the richest private school in Denver. Okay. And I was like, damn, you guys went to Kent? And they were like, what? Because they're trying to like keep it cool in front of Charlemagne. Mm-hmm. They're like, what? Yeah, we went to Kent. And Charlemagne's like, what's Kent? And I was like, it's the most exclusive private school in Denver. And he was like, oh, okay. And they were like, where are you from? And I was like, Aurora, which is just a suburb.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, okay. And then I was like, damn, this is my 8 Mile moment.
Yeah,
I know something you don't know. They had a very nice life. No, but Kent, Denver is fucking super nice. Whenever you meet someone from there, like from a exclusive high school like that, you're like, what was your childhood like?
I can't even imagine. Alex and I have been talking about that a lot, where I'm like, I truly have trouble imagining a normal childhood.
I've been doing that with I thought I was the only one that has fake fights in my head.
No.
But my girlfriend was like, you know that you're in a constant state of conflict? She said that last night when we were high playing Rocket League. She's like, you know whatever's going on in your head is you're just always either prepping for a fight that might come up or having a fight from 10 years ago in your head.
I love reliving a good fight, doing it right.
I know. How I would get him.
Yeah.
You start physically moving sometimes. You're like, don't even get in my face. You're just in the shower.
It's always the shower. I was just going to say, showers are either peaceful or like mental hell for me.
I had a bit about it because it was true that I'm 100% positive that when I lived with Mike Vecchione, he heard me having a shower argument, but he heard one that I lost.
Oh, no.
Where I've had that in my head where I'm like, man, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I was in the wrong. And I'm like, oh, fuck. But have you had a stranger? I'll have fake arguments while I'm walking my dog, she's out sniffing, and I'll be like, thinking about something that happened years ago. And I'm like, fuck you. You don't even know me like that. And then someone will see me and I'll be like, oh, I wish I had earbuds in. Yeah. If I had earbuds, everyone would be like, oh, this guy's taking care of business.
I do that all the time. And the reason I keep my AirPods in is so I can talk to myself.
Yeah. It's the pass. It's like you can talk to yourself. And if you see that
we're all a little crazy.
Everyone is. That's why people snapping during COVID.
It's happened
to 4 people I know that have had legitimate psychotic breaks.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what do you think it is? Like, it's not the TV or the music. It's the virus and everyone being fucked up by it.
Yeah, it's the isolation and the loneliness and fucking everything else and the stress of being alive.
And now people are learning how to be humans again. But we basically spent a year talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
And now we're out in public like, fuck you, I'll kill you. Like, what is that? Where's that from? And you're like,
People are weird now.
Yeah.
Well, there's just so much pressure to still like be so COVID conscious that I think people are conflicted as to whether they want to go out and live their lives and they're doing the right thing. It's all just like, they feel like the world's never going to really be the same.
You know who I don't like? I don't like the person that after you see them for a while after COVID and you go and you give them sort of like a side hug and they go, oh, we're only doing side hugs now? It's like...
What do you want to kiss?
Yeah, dog. Like...
Am I supposed to kiss you, you weird fuck?
Yeah, it's like the hug's not enough or it's like not friendly enough. But I'm also like, that we're all being more careful.
There's also some people where it's like the fact that we used to hug almost crossed the line for me.
God,
I don't need to hug you anymore.
It felt so good to cut people out.
Yeah, of hugging.
To be like, oh no, just of your life.
Yes.
Of COVID. Like people will text me now and I'll be like, you're not getting a text back. Why was this line of communication open? You fucking
How do you have
bugged
my
me.
number?
Oh my God. Because I think before that I was just like hoarding friends where I was like, get in, everyone get in. Everyone, let's all be friends. And now I'm like, man, you bugged
Like
me.
half of you are bad vibes, honestly. And now that like the world's in this like situation, it's very obvious how you're bad vibes all the time. Yeah.
The greatest thing that social media created was the mute button. Twitter, Instagram.
I like the unfollow, the mute, but you don't have to unfollow. So it creates no problems and you never see them.
You want to know a great trick that I learned? If you want someone, if you don't want to block someone, but you also don't want to mute, you just don't care, you just don't want them to follow you, you block them, then unblock them, and then they're unfollowed. They're not following you.
I love that.
So if you block them and unblock them quick, like boop, 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 they're just not following you.
That's why Lewis is never following me.
Yeah, because you block him and unblock him. And then he's just like...
I'm like, why isn't he following me?
It's your undoing.
Yeah. But it's great. Because there's guys that'll like talk shit that I'll just, like, nah, I don't dislike you. I just don't want you to follow me.
You're going to have to put through in the effort to go back and find me again at some
I've started doing that to people that make this joke where they're like, I would say something, but I don't want to get canceled. It's like, what?
Oh, God.
You work at Allstate, you fucking dork. And also, you're not funny. I'm on, no, block, unblock.
Block and block.
You don't get this. You don't get none of this.
Can I get a coffee when you get a second? Is that rude?
No, not at all. You've had a day, huh?
I've had a day.
She's had quite the morning.
Anytime you see someone in a Sports Illustrated sweatshirt that was free, they're either pulled out of a river or they've had a day.
Dude, I couldn't even get dressed. First of all,
You know what? I want to guess that was free originally, but Kim paid $1 for it. That's my exact guess, and I'll bet it's
guess.
true.
I thought...
Kim, did you pay $1 for that?
I paid $1 for this.
Damn. You know what I paid was $12.99 an issue for a year.
Hell yeah.
And I got fucking...
Formative.
Dude, I used to fucking love Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, I paid $1 for this. There's this place that's like
it's the best.
in LA. They just throw a bunch of clothes.
They make you line up like
They get the clothes from
animals
Goodwill
in a
before
farm.
They're sorted through.
Nice.
and
by the
so
employees.
they're like in these like plastic they're wrapped up in plastic and they make everybody stand around and wait for the guy to come cut the plastic open and everybody
It's like
they
Black
rip it up.
Friday.
everything's $1. Everything.
And people it gets violent. There's fights sometimes. People start, and you grab as much as you can, and then you can sort through it slowly once you have your own pile. But one lady didn't expect for it to happen. It gets wild, dude. I heard last time it happened, they ripped and they're like, go. And one lady was like, oh my God, they're wild.
Yeah.
And I was wearing a dress like an idiot, and someone was trying to take these fucking vintage jeans through my dress. They started dragging me because I was holding one leg and they were holding the other.
Dude, that's a clothes
it was going
rodeo.
up my ass.
Yeah. They're like, we're going to release the bull.
Yes.
You ready? Go. It's like the
Yes.
running of the bulls just with fucking jeans and studded shirts.
it's wild.
I got a fucking a vintage Lakers starter.
That's unbelievable.
For
Because I
$1, it's
paid-
wild.
I paid $100 for a vintage starter pullover 49ers jacket.
Yeah, no, I looked
Which
at
I'm
when I got
definitely gonna have to
online,
rock this weekend.
$260 online. I got it for $1.
Damn. Dude, I might fucking rock that starter jacket this weekend because the Niners are in the playoffs against the Cowboys.
Hell yeah.
It's
yeah.
fucking on.
You got to put it on. You paid for
Yeah,
it.
dude, I give away.
You overpaid for it.
I really did. I'm an idiot. I give away. When I moved out of Queens, I just took all my clothes and donated them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized I donated a lot of podcast shirts. So the pedophile Lewis shirt that Ari made for Skankfest
I love that.
is just on a homeless guy in Queens
That's
now.
great.
Great.
He's like, yeah, I like this guy. Whoever this guy, I'm a pedophile too. I like this guy.
No, if I ever see that guy with that shirt on, I'm gonna help him.
Yeah.
Give him a couple.
Or you're
bucks.
just gonna accidentally talk to a fan of Lewis's or Ari's. He's like, well, I ain't homeless, dude. I'm just a real ass dude.
Were you at Skankfest?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm Harrington. I'm your boyfriend.
We live together. We're in love.
Man, I didn't realize you had that T-shirt.
Yeah. What happened to you today?
Do you believe in psychics?
No. You want to know why?
Why?
Because there was one that used to live across the street from me, and then she was pregnant, and I'm always like, you had to see that coming.
Maybe she did.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe she wanted it.
But also, I believe that
I
there
don't
are
Not every pregnancy is bad, Dan.
No.
Dan,
Only people that want kids adopt them.
he said she was pregnant like it was a tumor. He's like, she had to have known it was death.
it was terminal.
It
It
was
was a
coming.
terminal pregnancy.
If you're the family member of
That's what made you not believe in psychics.
I just
One got pregnant.
I saw her pregnant, and I was like,
That
couldn't
can't be
be.
real. No one would do that on purpose.
Never.
way to not catch that one, you fucking idiot.
I do think there's a lot of fakes out there, but I believe in real ones for sure.
Well, let me tell you, I had a couple. I think I had recently had an experience that wasn't. I felt like the whole time I had one reading before.
You could
this.
tell when they're feeding you what they think you want to hear because they're always wrong.
Yeah.
They're wrong about what they think you want to hear. It's very generic. It's very, oh, you're a
This
girl,
shit
so you must
this
want this
morning
and that. It's very
fucked
obvious.
me up.
This morning fucked you up.
The lady this
So this was
morning
a birthday present.
But before this, I went to a lady like 2 months ago, and she was saying things to me, and it was like I was sort of going along with it. I felt it's like when you're dating a guy that you know is not treating well, but you're lying to yourself about
Oh
it.
yeah, when you're in a bad relationship, you're like, this is going nowhere. But then it's so relieving when the other person goes, "Hey, this isn't working."
You're
and
like, I know.
Thank
"Oh,
God.
you have to do the fake sad thing.
But I'm gonna miss you.
Oh man, how am I going to get over this? And then I was laughing when someone's like, "Dude, you got over that breakup easy." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I didn't
Yes,
care."
can you ring BW? I'm sorry. I realize it's our Joey Rose's sandwiches at the door,
Oh,
so I couldn't
shit.
ignore the call.
No, get him,
I'm
dude.
gonna send somebody to
No,
get them.
don't worry. I'll catch
Okay.
you up on my psychic experiences. So I had that one lady. I didn't really feel great about it.
And this was 2 months ago.
This was 2 months ago. It was the first time I've ever reached out. My friend was like, "This lady's good," but she also goes to a lot of psychics, which makes me think she's never found like a real one. Because
I
I feel
saw
like
that
when
on-
you find one, you stay with one.
Yeah, I saw on My Strange Addiction where a lady was addicted to psychics. Because she got like,
It's me.
well, she had like no, dude, this lady was doing 5 times a day.
Oh, that's a lot.
She spent
No,
like
That's-
over $100,000 a year on psychics.
So the thing is,
The
you
psychic's
can't
like,
obsess
I see
over
me making money.
Yeah.
I see me in a Mercedes Benz.
Yeah, a good psychic wouldn't let you do that because she would tell you now you're obsessing over what I'm telling you and it's not going to come to fruition
I bet
the same
there's-
way. Like
I
you have
think
to
there's-
chill.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
think there's
Yeah.
bad psychics and like there's bad therapists.
Yes.
Like there's therapists that are like, I'm just gonna fucking keep making money off this shit.
And even about 3 weeks ago, I had this lady come up to me while I was at like this market eating food, and she's like, "I'm so sorry." I was on the phone. She's like, "I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I'm a psychic, and like I have someone reaching out that wants to talk to you." And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, "Please, it's so important." And so I entertained her. I said, "What's up?" And she said, come sit. And then she was like, "So I do readings for $130 an hour." And I was like,
What a
I've had that happen to me
fucking-
too. They do that.
I was like, no.
Absolutely not.
So I've
That's
been
never,
sort of
ever
turned
gonna
off
be it.
by the whole thing.
I do 100. Thanks for hanging up that call.
And she
You're
was
like, that was
like,
my
"Are you
dying father.
She was
And
like,
he's
"Are you
"Ah,
sure?" And then she went, "Are you sure?" I was like, "This bitch, this fucking."
shit." Everyone in LA is a
This
hustle.
actress.
I wished at that moment because I was busy and I had like 10 minutes to get somewhere else. I had an appointment, a hair appointment specifically I had to go to. If I had the extra time, I would have just hung out and watched her to do it to other people. and
Don't do
record
it.
her.
Just yell out.
I would go up in front and say, "She's lying. She just did this to me."
You know what you should have done is waited until she said that to someone and then go up and go, "Hi, I also have someone that wants to talk to you, and I do 120 an hour. So if you want, go over to my van, sort this out."
Yeah, I go up to the people she's staring at and I go, "I have a feeling this weird lady's gonna come up to you in a second."
If it happens, just come talk to me.
$60.
60 an hour. Yeah. I got you at 60. Oh, she
just
did.
hustle her hustle.
Yeah, just cut in line.
Yeah. So I was already a little hesitant, but Alex has been talking about this lady for years. Alex has been like, and her mom too, and they've been telling stories where it's like the psychic pulls up to their driveway and they're like, and she's like, "What happened with the chalk hole?"
Like she's
and it'll
crazy.
be like, oh yeah, there was a fire yesterday. You
And
know
I've
what I
known
mean?
this woman for like 8 years in like different capacities. Like she's owned a store that I worked at, and this is gonna sound crazy, but is like she like does she's like an esthetician. She like I met her through doing my eyebrows, and she like does the psychic shit on the side.
Yeah.
Like
It's got to be weird when you have a supernatural gift and then you don't make it your main source of income.
Yeah,
where you go, hey, I do grouting, but also like I can raise the dead. It's this thing. I'm like a dead zone guy.
And like,
but I don't know. If you want me to, I can go to the backyard and feel the ground.
trust me, I did not believe this woman straight off the bat, but over like the 8 years of our friendship, she is right in the middle of me and my mom's age. She's like 17
Didn't she
years.
find the dress? Was that her that found the missing dress?
It was that my mom's story, maybe? I don't know. She's done, over the years, she's just convinced us. I'm like, sister, you get it.
Yeah.
Like,
She convinced me in an hour.
remember
fully.
when those kids in Asia were trapped in that cave a couple years ago?
That soccer team.
Yes. Okay.
Or whatever they
So
were.
I was working at her store at the time, and like 2 days before the news broke, she was like, I had this wild dream last night that I was like projecting, like flying through the sky, and I ended up in this cave, and these kids were scared and calling for their moms, and I hugged them and I told them it was going to be okay. And like she told me the story, and like 3 to 5 days later, maybe the news breaks that these kids have been missing in this cave.
What is this, bitch Lassie?
Fucking wild. I was like, I just believe you now. I get it.
You're like, what is it, Janice?
Crazy.
Janet, tell me what it is. And she's like, and you're like, there's a bus going over in 2 days.
Dude, the shit she told me blew my fucking mind.
And this was this morning. So
This was
you
this
hooked her up with a
So
session.
I never got Kim a birthday present this year, and she's been kind of expressing like uncertainty about certain things. I was like, you should see this girl. It'll be fun. I'll buy it for you for your birthday. So we set it up, and she FaceTimed her this morning, and her world's been rocked.
Dog, she fucking blew my mind. I don't even know where to start. What do I start
Whatever
with?
you're comfortable sharing, I guess, because there was a lot.
You know, I'll share it all. I've never kept one secret.
What's the foreplay of psychic behavior? Do they get on and they're like, how you doing? So what's been going on? Or is she like, she's like, no, watch out. Tomorrow don't cross the street at fucking 3 p.m. Just fucking getting jolted.
She gets on.
She goes, hi, Kim. And your last name's Congdon.
She's not so Raven.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Just in her head.
Yeah, no, she gets on. She's very casual. She's super cute. I would give her, the way I would describe her physically is if Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City was actually like a cute little blonde girl from
like Queens, yeah.
Queens. Like she's very like long blonde hair. She's smoking a cigarette. Has her coffee. And she's like, hi, I'm sorry I called you 3 minutes early. I was excited. She's like that. And
That's
I'm like,
pretty
hi.
fun.
Yeah.
She's the best. She's like a dear friend of mine. I've been telling
That's
you about
awesome.
her for ages. Like,
yeah, she's like, I'm excited. Let's talk about it. First of all, she goes, and this is something that is already so woo-woo, I don't even like saying out loud, but something that Alex knows about me. I've had weird experiences where I've been like, there's no explaining
Kim's
this.
always one step ahead of
I've
everything
had dreams
in the
and then
fucking
I
weirdest
told them
way.
to Alex, and the next day they've had like weird shit.
She goes, you have power. I can feel your power.
She literally goes, first of all, I see the light in you. You're like me. You're a light worker. You're a psychic. Okay, now let's get into it.
She goes, so real quick, gonna have to scan you. Put your powers to the your nose is bleeding.
Yeah.
She goes, anyways, that's
Fly to the ceiling.
There's smoke in the background of her screen.
sorry, girl, had to psychic scissor you. we had to slam psychic pussies or else we couldn't get into this.
That's how girls hang.
Yeah, she goes, and just to let you know, you're gonna be the next 50 Cent, Mrs. 50 Cent.
Oh, now you're seeing my future.
Yeah.
You know
So
what I'm
Kim, damn, where's all the vitamin water? You drank all of it.
Vitamin K, baby. So she tells me, so she starts and she says she already pulled some cards for me. And she pulls some cards and she basically starts talking about like, God, I can't even remember how it started. She instantly was like, she said nothing about stand-up, which I found very interesting. She said so many things in an hour and didn't bring up stand-up, which if you're looking me up, I think it would be the thing that you would like
Yeah, you'd figure
take
it out.
lies from.
Yeah, you would also, stand-up comics are so desperate that you could get us We're tricking
know
you to believe our
yeah,
stories, and
yeah.
everyone
I know
can trick
exactly how I would do that for
if I still get a call from like a California number, I'm like, well, this is Showbiz calling to let me know everything's going to be all right. And then it's just like,
like
you're on a call list.
We're calling to
Extend
confirm, your car's warranty.
I had
Yeah.
a fucking, my car that I don't own.
Your car's
or-
extended warranty.
like Caribbean cruises. And I'm like, because I did the Joker's cruise, you guys are fucking reaching out?
Yeah, you want me to do another set, huh?
Done. 4 days, I'll block it off.
You end up giving him your social for some reason.
We'll start it off right now. 597. Thank you. So she didn't talk about comedy once.
She didn't
See, that would have bothered me because I'd have been like, so what's going on?
No, she pulled it up very. This is the way she did it. She was like, so the 3 cards already pulled for you. She's like, you know who you are. You're very in tune with yourself, and all things that I truly feel about myself. You feel this way. You're a writer. You're an entertainer. You know you're gonna be great. You know that. And I was like, yes. And she goes,
she shoved it all to the side.
goes, "We're
She's
gonna
like, that's
move
not
on."
what this is about.
She literally
Damn.
goes, we need to talk about your
My
love
insecure
life.
ass would have been like, what's up?
No, she was like, it's all good. She was like, you feel
I
like
still would have been like, wait.
Can you go back to the stand up? Because I just sent in my JFL submission showcase.
There's a new bit that I'm doing that's not really hitting, and I just kind of wonder if it's the club or if it's me. And
Can I run it by you real quick?
Have you heard anybody do this? You would tell her.
Therapist
Anybody
now?
ever? Anybody ran this bit by you? What's up with illegal gambling? And she's like, yeah, that would have, like, the personal life, which is obviously what you want to know.
Yeah.
So you were like, maybe that's her hustling you though.
Maybe that's her hustling me. But
Being
this
like,
is,
you want to talk about boys?
But what she said
You wanna-
really fucked me up.
Why?
So she goes, okay, so that's all good, and that's all great, and like you can. And she also said you can ask me anything you want about that if you want to. But she was like, in your love life, she was like, it is a mess. And she goes like, should I tell the whole thing?
It's up to you.
Okay, so
I don't think you have
say
to tell the whole thing.
spill it.
Yeah,
so she goes.
We're just on broad topics.
we are.
She goes, I'm seeing a male in your life that's been there for a while. And I go, okay, and someone that you were romantically involved with, and they travel a lot. And now I'm brought it down to a couple guys I dated.
She goes, hold on, he's infiltrating me. He's here right now. Kim, you stupid bitch, get out of here. What are you doing? You fucking dumb whore. Why are you talking to this psychic bitch? I can't control him. Meet me at the Muay Thai gym, you fucking dumb asshole.
I love that you had to grab the coffee to have me Lewis.
Hold on, I just had a fucking fresh coffee. James, baby James, play the drums.
So then I'm thinking it's either Lewis or maybe another guy I was seeing who I like, who I was hoping that it was maybe him. That I was like, okay, it could be 2 guys.
Yeah, it's 2, right? She goes, honey, it's the one you don't
This is
want.
what she's doing. She's going, there's someone in your life. She goes, I'm seeing like a fucking crazy storm. Like it's a storm. It's
Are you
involving
both Latinas?
involving everyone around you. She was like,
all of your fights involve people around
Yes.
you. They're very
She
public?
literally said that. Yeah.
yes.
Really?
Yeah, she was like, it's like a thing that's always happening.
So your
she's not a
friends are
psych-
involved in ways that are not appropriate.
Fuck this lady. She's not a psychic. She's a gas digital subscriber.
This is what fucks me up.
I fucking watch. She goes, I'm a real ass
She's
chick.
like it goes back and forth, and you sort of can't neither of you can let go. And then she goes, and I go, I don't know. It could maybe be one of 2 guys. Maybe because me and this guy like each other and we can't let each other go. I'm literally so in fucking denial, and I'm like, please be the guy. Please be the guy that I like.
no.
And she goes,
Girl, you're in danger.
and this is the part that fucked me up because nobody knows about this, and this is a thing that, I mean, maybe I've mentioned it in one podcast.
She doesn't
4
listen to
years
the
ago.
network.
She would have to dig into thousands of podcasts to find this one sentence I said. Maybe I don't even think I've ever mentioned this. When I was living with Lewis,
Yeah.
my legs had eczema the entire relationship. I've never had eczema my whole life.
It was an issue.
My legs were constantly bleeding. They looked like a meth head. People would not sit next to me if I was wearing shorts on the train because it looked like something. My eczema was so bad, and then the day after I moved out, my legs started clearing up, and it was a thing that I was
stressed.
Lewis was poisoning you.
Yeah.
He goes, take another sip of this tea I made you, Kim. It makes your skin bumpy and weird.
So
Men won't want to touch you.
So I'm like talking to this lady. She's talking about these 2 men, and I go, I don't know. It could be one of 2. She goes, let's move on. And she goes, I'm sorry, this is weird. Eczema? I swear to God.
That would fuck me up.
And I went, what? And she was like, I'm just seeing eczema. Maybe he has eczema or you have eczema. I was like, we both had eczema.
Yeah. It was a problem.
And he goes, this person is not your soulmate. She goes, it feels like it, but you guys are so entangled in this thought of that you can't even get out of it.
Which I agree with. I mean, yes.
Yes. And she said, this person, this is the exact way that they hold you in their life. And she did this to her own shirt. She was like, that's how they hold you.
And you were like, oh, no.
And I felt him. He came through and do it again. He came through.
He was like, Kim, can you get out of here? I got to talk to the psychic lady.
Damn, cock block.
Yeah, but there is not a better feeling than someone confirming how you feel about an ex.
Yes.
I did this joke on my Netflix half hour about this wealthy girl that I dated and never said her name, never fucking brought it up. Felt bad that I even did that joke. And it was a good joke. I was like, it was a funny joke.
Yeah.
One of the only jokes I liked on that half hour. I was in Florida and I was doing shows in Key West. Fucking random. My buddy Tom books a room down there.
Hell yeah.
And afterwards,
So fun.
it is. And I was walking to
Key
get
West is best.
Key West is fucking awesome.
So fun. We should all do a big comedy thing in Key West.
That sounds great.
If you want to
Skankfest
see
Key West?
100%. Well, it's all parents who have ran from their kids and who are about to die from cirrhosis.
Yes.
That's what it is. So I was walking to go get dinner with this girl in Key West, and this guy walks up to me. He's like, hey, do you have a joke about boop? Like, says her name. And I was like, what's up, dude? And I was like looking around. I was like, is this how she gets me? Is this how the wealthy...
She kills you.
Yeah. She hired a guy to kill me in Key West, and then they can't trace it back to her. And I was like, yeah, I used to have a joke. This is like maybe 2 years after the Netflix thing came out. And I was like, yeah, I used to have a joke about her. And he's like, no, I know. I saw it on Netflix. And I was like, oh, are you here to fight me? And he's like, God, no. I know her through so-and-so, and you fucking nailed it. And I was like,
That
nice.
feels
It's
great.
because you feel like an asshole sometimes, or like you're like,
Well,
am I making this whole
you
thing
question
up?
so many things about a relationship once it's over. You're like even if the whole time you felt like the other person was the problem, you're like, was I the problem?
I almost one time wanted to go, dude, Mike Vecchione, he rarely gets serious with us. Like, we lived together for 10 years. We have a very, like, we joke around, we do fake angry. We never do really, like, stern, hey, you know what I mean? And we went to this Eagles game in 2016, and we stopped at Wawa, and it was like pouring rain.
Love a Wawa.
Love a Wawa. And Jay and Christine were with us, and
the king and queen of Wawa.
yeah, the Duke and Duchess of Wawa, and they were in the store, and Vecchione and I were like, and I was like, just real casually, I was like, you know what? I was like thinking about another ex, and I was like, she kind of reached out recently, and like, what if I started hooking up with her? And he goes, Dan, no. Like in a way where I was like, damn, you really that relationship really didn't
That's
work.
when you know it's a no.
Yeah.
That's what Alex does about Lewis.
Yeah. It's like, hey, fucking knock it off. Because I think when you're alone, your brain can like make up scenarios that aren't true in order to get these people back in your life, where you'll be like, oh, but this was happening and I was like this, and I would probably approach her like that, but you're like, dude, you tried it, it didn't work. When it works, it works. And when they, like, I used to hate when people said that, and they're like, if it works, it works. And then my girlfriend now, I'm like, oh shit, there's so many things where I'm like,
You're like, how are we so aligned? It doesn't even make sense to me.
there was another, she randomly referenced Nappy Roots, and I was like, who's gonna make a Nappy Roots reference?
I love that.
Yeah, and I was like, oh no, and she was like, we just,
I'm in love.
yeah, you just get into
Baby,
it.
that's it.
That's it. That's the song.
I love that.
But there is a
You
thing
guys should
of,
go down the aisle to Nappy Roots.
oh, dude, hell yeah. All my life I've been poor, but I really don't matter no more. She's like, I fucking love this. But I
Where's
think
she from?
she's from Boston, but we're just
seems cool.
we're just in the same age category where it's like, oh yeah, she gets that reference. But there is a thing of when someone's right, people always want it. People have this idea, like, oh no, if it's wrong, it's because it's passionate. It's like, no, it's not. It's wrong.
Yeah.
And so it's cutting you. It's like the pieces don't go together.
Yes.
So you're like getting cut by it, and you're like, hey, just make it fit. Just make it fit a little bit. It's like when you find a shirt that doesn't fit, and you're like, it's a great shirt. But
It's
like,
such a good shirt, but
Yeah.
it just doesn't fit right, and you're uncomfortable the whole time. You're like, I should have just worn a shirt that fit.
yes. And then you put on a shirt that does fit right, and you're like, whew, this is fucking sick.
And I look good. Yeah.
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 But so
Yeah,
her
so-
saying that was
So
like,
she said that, and she was like, that's just something that you're very good. You know, it's a very strong relationship, but it's not it.
which is also good. If I were if you were my ex and you heard that and I felt this, I'd be like, good. All right.
Yes. I
good.
think it's great
No, it's
for
great.
everyone.
It's great.
It's like a referee coming in and being
everything
like,
I
stop
wanted
that.
to
And
hear.
then you're like, all right, good.
Dude, the one thing I was nervous about sending her to the psychic was that she was going to say something about the opposite of that.
Yeah, when
Yes.
she comes back and she goes, Lewis and I are getting married. I called him.
I'm like, oh God, I
love
caused
him
this
again.
problem.
Oh, my God.
Fuck.
We're back together.
But it
Shit, I'm
also-
getting fired.
I would, if I were an ex, like to pay a psychic to talk to my exes and be like, don't be mad at him. He's pretty cool. Just leave it alone.
That's actually a great
That's a
business.
great racket. It's like, you know
So-
what? Maybe give him back his favorite shirt.
Not me mending you and Lewis's relationship.
Poopies. So I started talking to this guy. So I was talking to two guys. There's a guy in New York that I
Yeah.
see when I come here that I've been seeing for like 2 years whenever I come to New York.
A New York
Yeah.
gentleman.
A New York gentleman. My New York
gentleman
I
caller.
literally call him my New York boyfriend. And I've been kind of over him because he's been like not I like to be
Empty
spoiled.
promises,
He's
let's
an
say
empty
that.
promise guy, and I like to be like super spoiled. Like I like presents, being taken out to dinner, going on trips. I like the whole thing. What?
Who doesn't like those
Yeah, I know,
things?
but that's what I want.
Oh, okay. You
So-
want someone to
Yeah,
act
so
with
this
you.
dude in
Yes.
particular keeps saying, like, I'm going to take you to dinner or, like, I'm going to get you a manicure and pedicure
You know
and then
what's so
just not
funny?
doing it.
I had a joke before the pandemic that I stopped doing about how that's men's dirty talk in their 30s.
Yeah.
It's like promises that you don't fulfill.
So that's
Where
what
I'm
he's
like,
doing.
Do
And
you
I'm
want to
so
just go? Do you want to go away? Let's just fucking go away. And my girlfriend was like, you know, you've said that when we've had sex. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, maybe we got to go away. Say, all right, all right.
So then I've been sort of like over him, and I've been talking to this new guy. I've been texting him, and this new guy has been really good. He's been doing the opposite. He he asked me what I was doing the other day. I said I'm getting my nails and toes done. He sent me $100. He booked me a facial. He's like being really nice. He asked me if like I want lunch or if I need anything. Constantly, all the time. He's really sweet. So she goes, "There's another guy that I'm seeing." She goes, It's not someone you've had sex with. And I was like, okay, yeah. And she goes, and he's offering a lot. He's giving you like offerings. And she goes, and then she pulls out a
Like
card.
a cat.
Yeah. She pulls out a card and she goes, I'm seeing the card of justice. So is he a judge? And I went, no. And she goes, I always say judge first because I don't want to do this. She was like, what about like jail or prison? And I go, he's an ex-felon. And this is just a guy I've been talking to that I haven't posted anywhere that no one would know I'm even talking to.
Yeah, you just met him on one of those prison websites.
I met him on prison.com.
Yeah.
He is an ex-felon, but it's like
Meet
a
an inmate.
non-violent weed crime.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like
Okay,
nothing
good.
crazy.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
It's a
if you're
non-violent.
going to try to sell me on like a rape,
No.
he raped, but it was the 90s. It
No.
was different. That was
And it was.
Yeah.
She was of age.
Yeah, whatever, man. It's her fault for wearing what you wore. You're like, Jesus, kid.
So she tells me she sees this guy that's giving me offering me that was a felon. I'm like, the fact that she's nailed these two guys already is insane. And she's like,
I'm also impressed that she didn't mix Lewis and this guy. She goes, and this guy has a record. You go,
Yeah.
Lewis surprisingly doesn't have a record.
So she says, so she's like, this guy is, he's fine for now. You guys are gonna have incredible sex when you have sex.
Dude, that guy, that's to get your exes off your back and also to goose up the women you're dating.
Yeah.
Where she's like, you're going to come hard,
Yeah,
girl.
but
then
then she
he's
said
just
he's
on the
also
side
going
of
to be
this.
mean to you. He's going to end it by being like his words are not going to be kind, and he's going to yell at you.
What an interesting proposal because you can keep going.
I can come, but I'm going to get yelled at.
You're
And
gonna
guess
get
what?
sad.
Mama's going to come.
Mama could get shouted at. I'm going to get the snack, and then I'm going to get the talking to.
So I was like, cool. Then she said that she was like, you get so like stressed and depressed about over finding someone. Or she was like, all of your anxieties come from feeling like you haven't found someone. Like all of them. They're not even, because it's true. I don't really worry about stand up. I don't worry about any. I'm always feel like
It's the only thing you're ever worried about. Yeah.
Because it's like all the guys I date are such pieces of shit. So I'm always like, is everyone a piece of shit?
Yeah.
No offense, Lewis. Thank you so much for having my podcast here at Gas Digital.
No, but I mean,
But you know what I mean.
just
Not when I
doesn't
say
work.
piece
It's
of
not
shit,
working
it's always
out,
not
yeah.
for me.
it just doesn't work.
And Lewis is not a piece of shit, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
You guys know what I mean.
He is and he isn't. We all get it.
He is and he isn't.
Lewis is one of
He's
the
the best and worst.
He's one of the best friends in the world to have.
The worst
And he's
boyfriends.
also one of the most annoying friends in the world to have.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like
He's the best. He's
he'll go
the
through
worst.
hell
Yeah.
for you, and then there will be times when you're in public and you're
He
like,
is the hell.
Why am I friends with this guy? He's putting me in this very awful situation. And then sometimes you're like, God damn, is he a great friend?
Yeah, is this the
You have a
most
tear
fun
in your
hang
eye
ever?
for
Yeah.
different reasons.
It's pooping.
Yeah.
Lewis is pooping. Sometimes pooping is great and it feels good and you get a lot out.
And you need it. It's the
And
best thing
sometimes
ever.
you're
Yeah.
like, I have to poop when I'm on the train and I don't want to poop right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she says that, and she's like, this whole thing. She said she saw my daughter. She's like, I see you're gonna have one child. It's gonna be a daughter. All I see is her like laughing a lot, and she's very happy.
Fun.
You're gonna have a husband. It's great. Then she goes over and she goes, "Did your grandpa die?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, the thing she did is she didn't call him the nickname that I have on social media. She called him the nickname that only my aunts call him who don't have social media. So she goes, "Did they call him Poppy?" Like,
I know.
it's a little common. It's a little common.
Yes, and this sounds like
even-
it comes out of the same recipe book.
But for my
You're like,
grandpa,
Are you have a felon interested in you?
Yeah.
Did your
I
grandpa
just
go
wore
by
hoop
Poppy?
earrings. I gave away a lot with
She's got
the
her
hoop
chart
earrings.
out.
Yeah, she put her. Yeah, as she busted out the hoop earring, she was like, "I got this one."
She's like, all right,
Go to
B7.
56.
Yeah.
She also did say that my husband has something to do with Atlanta.
Atlanta, the city or the show?
I don't know.
'Cause the
She
show
said
on
I'm
FX.
She said I'm seeing Atlanta or Georgia, and something to do with your husband, and that his name starts with an R.
He's black.
That's a black man, if I've ever heard it. A name that starts with an R in Atlanta.
God, I hope you get an old white
Randall.
white name like, my name is Rudolph, and I am I'm named after the reindeer, but I run a media conglomerate
That's
down
crazy.
here in
You
Georgia.
sound so black.
Yeah. They go, hey, man. Yeah, it could easily go. But that's the daughter thing, that didn't wig you out? You're like,
That's where I started. I got really teary-eyed. I was really fucked up by it. I was like, that's crazy. I only have ever felt like I'd have one kid.
yeah,
Even when I was smaller, I was like, I feel like I could only have one.
yeah.
And she was like, you're definitely only going to have one child. You're going to have a husband. Everything's going to be fine. And then she was like, your grandpa's here. He's holding a new baby.
Which, did the baby die? Why is he
My
holding a baby?
cousin's baby who had cancer just died.
Oh, my God,
Remember?
yeah. Oh, my God. That
And-
would fuck me
But
up.
before she told me he was holding a baby, she says, I see him hugging and going like this on his head because he had no hair.
Oh, my God. That would fuck me
And
up.
then she said the baby thing. And I didn't even realize the baby thing until after. I was like, I don't know the baby. Because I was just so overwhelmed by everything. I couldn't
Yeah.
even think. I was like, he's holding a baby. I was like, maybe my nephew before he was born. And then I remembered my cousin's baby. And she said he's holding a new baby. My cousin's baby was the youngest baby in the family.
Yeah, that would fuck me
That's
up.
crazy, right?
It's crazy.
honestly,
she's good.
that-
I'm telling you, she's
I'm telling
good.
you right now, that almost sold me on it.
I
where I
am-
was going to wait till after
The
the podcast.
eczema. I
and
was
be like,
sold after eczema.
like,
I was like,
Alex,
there's
I need
no
his
way
fucking
she would
number.
know the
Listen.
eczema thing. It is so fucking. The eczema thing is such a specific, strong reference.
I'm a little hippy dippy for sure, but I also am a pretty smart person. Like
Yeah.
I won't just take anything that this lady is like.
She's
there's
the
a
real
le-
deal.
I'm
She's
enough of a wrestling fan that I'm on board.
Yeah.
That I believe I can be sold easy.
So she's like, yeah, your grandpa's here. She's like, and then she told me something that I didn't understand. She was like, I'm hearing keys, either keys or a dog collar. I do have a dog that passed that was like our family dog, but my grandpa never had dogs. He was never a dog person. And she's like, maybe he didn't have a dog, but he has one now. And she was like, and he loves the dog. And I was like, okay.
Damn,
So
dude,
yes.
all dogs do go to heaven.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right,
I was
dude.
a little fucked up over the fact that my cousin's baby was still bald in heaven.
That's fucked up. That's fucked
thought
up.
about
What
that
is
too.
this? What is this, Pet Cemetery? You
But I
end up
think
the way
it's
you
just the
went?
visual, so she could do that's what.
So
he's
she could do the
sending.
math of like
Yes.
what
That's
happened.
so funny because if I end up talking to the psychic and she's like, your dad's here, I'm like, still got the stash?
How's he look?
Yeah.
Is he all cirrhosis out? Because I don't
Yeah.
want to talk to that dad. That's
Sit-
got to freak you out.
Tell Dan about your sister too, because that's crazy. The
And
events
this is
of
the
last
last.
night.
And
Yeah,
this is
the last big one.
Big
like,
one that she got. And
They
she
had an
goes-
hour together.
Yeah, we had an hour together, and she goes, "Okay, so everything's good." And then she brought up my mom. She says, "I see your mom, super selfish, very narcissistic. Never really was concerned about like learning who you were." And I was like, "Spot on." But you could also look at her Instagram, and her titties are out, and she's doing TikToks.
But
It's like,
she's
we
gonna.
know Stifler's mom when we see it. You know.
It was cute what she said that that relationship will be mended when you have a daughter.
Yeah, she
It was
says
really
that
nice.
me and my daughter will be complete opposite because I will be actively trying not to be like that.
Yeah, that's what everybody. That's
Yeah.
why Lewis is such a phenomenal father.
Yeah.
Because he had the worst father.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, now he's the best dad.
Yeah.
That's what I see with Bobby and like All my friends that have kids that had shitty dads.
The key to a good dad is fucking up the dad.
Yeah, the key that really is. It's like fucking up your kid. Guess what? It pays off dividends in the next generation.
You do it for your grandchildren.
Or you're just like me and you just shut down. You're like, I'm not having kids. And everyone's like, well, all right.
So then she says, she's like, all right, well, everything's good in your family except, I don't know, someone needs to get their thyroid checked. And I was like, what? And she's like, not an emergency. It's not life or death. Someone's having thyroid problems. And me, the first person that popped into my head for some reason was my sister April. So I hang up the phone with her. I say thank you. I call my sister April and I go, April, are you feeling okay? And she was like, yeah. I was like, is there anything wrong with you? Because this lady was saying something about like someone has a I told her, I was like, I saw this medium and she brought up like thyroid problems. And she goes, I went to mom's yesterday because I can't swallow.
Damn.
Yeah. She was
She's
like,
good.
I'm having trouble swallowing.
Damn. Damn.
And she went to my mom's house yesterday. I haven't talked to my sister in a week and a half.
Damn. That would spook me the fuck out.
So
if I couldn't swallow it.
Then we came straight from the psychic meeting to Gas Digital today, and
And
Kim
I
had
had
a panic attack in the car.
Yeah.
Why? Just
I don't
'cause we were
know.
hearing
I've
all
just been
that?
freaked out. Yeah.
Because
I didn't really believe it and she fucking got me.
Yeah, she got you,
fucking
dude.
got me,
She got you
dude.
good. Also, as a hypochondriac, if that happened to me, if I was on the receiving end of your call and you're like, is something wrong? You're like, what's up? What else did she say? What did she say? It's not a big deal? I'd be like, I'll fucking go to the doctor right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God, who's the best thyroid specialist that I can afford?
Yep.
That's got to be insane.
When she was like, yeah, I went to mom's house yesterday because I couldn't swallow. She said that.
Yeah.
I couldn't swallow.
Yeah, that would freak me out.
Wild.
So are you feeling overall glad you did it?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like really great about it.
I'm glad because it was a
Sometimes-
gamble.
Well, there's shit like that like I always thought meditation was gay and I never wanted to do it. And I
Yeah.
never believed in any of that like chakra bullshit and all this stuff. I have terrible acid reflux. I've always had terrible acid reflux since the time
I
I
thought you
was
said
like,
ass reflex.
I get ass reflux like this. Pow, pow, pow. No, but I've always had really bad acid reflux. And I was in California. And
Acid reflux?
yeah, reflux. Just toxic fucks running back with exes. But I had like really bad heartburn and I'd always have like a yellow tongue, like really acidic. And
I hate that. It's something I used to have that a little bit, and
It
it was
sucks.
like made me so self-conscious. Like,
yeah, I hated it.
yeah.
And I still have it a little bit, but I would take Nexium, I would take Prilosec, I'd go to the stomach doctor, I'd get endoscopies, I would get all this shit. And I'd be like, why is my stomach so fucking acidic? This is crazy. And then I would like try quitting foods and then I didn't want to, so I'd keep eating them. So my friend is into all of like the healing, like the crystal shit and meditating. And I'm like, Kundalini yoga. And I'm like, this is bullshit. And I was in California and she's like, let me try. Just try it. And I was like, whatever, I'll do it. And she's like, damn, your middle chakra or whatever is fucked up. It's like super
Your
chaotic.
solar plexus one right here.
And it's your heart chakra or whatever. She's like, it's super fucked up. And she's like, oh yeah, you had a lot of loss when you were a teenager. And I was like, oh, a ton. And she's like, yeah, that's what it affects it. And she's like, let me do some shit. She's like, your chakras aren't aligned up or whatever. So she does this thing and I'm like, you know, whatever.
Hippy dippy bullshit.
I'm breathing in.
Yeah.
I'm doing the breaths and whatever.
You're doing the work.
I did the work, but I was
You're
like,
giving
this
it a
is-
chance,
This
yeah.
is bullshit. Dude, I swear to God, at the end of this thing, I was like, I feel like I'm breathing really well. And she's like, yeah, you're like lined up. And I'm like, oh, you know what it was? It was we were down in LA for the Skanks at the Comedy Store when you were still dating Lewis. And that shit blew up with Kurt, Lewis, and Annie and all that shit. And they did that
Oh,
show.
hell yeah. Classic story.
Classic story. But that was
That
that
was a fun
exact
night,
time.
yeah.
That was the exact time. And I went up in Palm Springs and like did this. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. Dude, after we did that, there was a line down the middle of my tongue that was just the natural red color of my tongue, and it like parted the acid.
No.
And she was like, "Yeah, you're lined up now, so like you can get through." And like I stopped having reflux for a while, and then it came back. But she was like, "Yeah, you got to do the work." And so I started meditating and stuff because she's like, "Your brain is so fucking all over the place. You got to center it." And it was like years ago, and I started meditating, and it fucking changed my life.
Wow.
My girlfriend can tell when I haven't meditated. When I come in the room and she's like, yeah, what is all this?
Your energy's all
'Cause
scrambled.
I'm like,
You can feel it, yeah.
And then when I sit and breathe and I do it for 15 minutes, and then I come back in.
Is
I'm
that
like,
how long you do it for? 15 minutes?
I do specific things that my friend taught me, like breathing exercises it's called Kundalini yoga. And it's like, You like do specific hold your breaths and shit, but I like it.
I mean, it seems like hippy dippy bullshit, but it makes sense. Like scientifically, like calming your body down by taking slow breaths is gonna calm your energy down, and everybody around you is gonna feel better being near you.
100%.
Yeah.
During COVID, when I was like, you know, when we were locked down and you couldn't leave, I stopped meditating because you just wake up and eat and then play video
when you're
games
stuck in the
and
house,
sleep
there's
and
no
eat.
rules. You don't clean. It's nothing. I'm
All I
like
knew was I
that.
had to do the bonfire from fucking 6 to 8. That was it. So
In
I
the
was
house, you have
in
to
the
make it
house.
to a chair.
I had to
It's-
walk my dog, and that was
Yeah.
it. So I stopped meditating or whatever, and I was like, "This is fucking weird." And then I went and got a physical once stuff opened. I got COVID, and then I got over it, and I was like, "Let me get a physical." My blood pressure was high, and I normally don't have like high blood pressure, but they were like, "Your blood pressure is really high," and I was like, "I wonder what that is." Probably COVID. I'm probably stressed. And then I started doing my meditating again, and I started doing my breathing, and I went back like 6 months later, and they're like, "Hey, your blood pressure's fine." They're like,
Nice.
and I was talking to Vecchione about it, and he's like, "Yeah, because he does meditating too," and he's like, "That shit's so necessary for you to stay calm."
Damn, I gotta start meditating.
But it really does. But at first, it's kind of like the psychic thing. I was like, "This is fucking dumb."
Well, Josh Adam Myers, when we were staying in that apartment in New York that we were, remember we were roommates, I was supposed to haunt him.
Yeah, you're gonna haunt him and just walk through in sexy things and be like, "Oh no,
I'm scary.
I'm scary. Then I need to be held." He's like, "Well, I mean, I could probably help you out a little bit.
I'm sick.
Let me wrap my arms around you, warm you up." Yeah, but
Well, when we did that, he was telling, because he would meditate every morning.
Yeah,
And he told me that, like, when he first started learning how to meditate, someone taught him how to meditate, and they had him imagine a picture of him and his dog, or imagine any picture. And he was like, "Imagine me and my dog in my head." He was like, "Imagine it for a while, and then we'll start the meditation." And he said after the hour meditation, he had them imagine the same picture he imagined in the beginning. And he was like, "Kim, it was like
So much
night
more
and day, the
detailed.
way it was detailed in my head. It was like so clear. There was like, it was like a painting in front of me."
yeah, there's too much it's like stimulation now. Like you just get on your phone and you can be like stimulated in the worst way.
Yeah.
You can go
You're
like-
talking to TikTok addicts. We get it.
But I mean that. Like,
It's a
you can-
problem.
Like I can go to Reddit and choose to go to like the Reddit the subreddit of Made Me Smile and literally watch it and be like, "Oh, it makes
And
me
it-
feel good."
yeah,
or
it
make
does
me laugh
give you
and be
a- like an
"Oh, it's
endorphin
fun." Or I
buzz.
can go trolling and just
Yeah.
see what people are saying about comics, and then I'm off and I'm like, "I want to fucking fight somebody."
Yeah.
So it really is this like choice, and a lot of the times your impulses are to do both.
Well,
you want
even-
sweet and savory.
Even if you
So you're
choose
like-
sweet, like the high is so like short lived. It's so like not real. I feel that when you pull yourself away from it, you're like still kind of not centered.
Well,
Yeah.
I was terrible at social media and the fact of how I took compliments. Big J's made fun of me for it on the bonfire for like 7 years. Where it's like someone will be like, "You're my favorite comedian." I'm like, "Look at this fucking asshole. Oh, you're my favorite comedian. This guy fucking trolling me." And he's like, "He means it." And I'm like, no.
Very
And I-
straightforward. Yeah.
And at first, Katie, where she was like, "Yeah, you should treat Twitter like they're all your friends busting your balls, and it's way easier." But then I really started to like through
Well,
therapy.
that's
and
what they think they are, by the way.
No,
Yeah.
it's 100%. Because
Yeah.
whenever you push back, they're like, "Whoa," or they're just trolling. In
Yeah.
which case, they're like, "Got him." And then you look back to that, and you're like, "I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot
Got
for jumping
me.
in that. You did get me." But then, the more I worked, like, started concentrating on the fact of like I said, everything's a conflict in my head. When that was told to me, I was like, "Damn, that is." But then I look back at all the stuff that I'm thinking, and it's like, yeah, I don't give anyone the benefit of the doubt. I don't give anyone a benefit of the doubt. Anyone. My best friends, it's because I was raised by an alcoholic that I didn't know what was coming through that door. Was my mom going to be mad? Was my mom going to be sad? Was my mom going to be happy? You just didn't know. So there's like, as a kid, you're just growing up and you're like, "Let's fucking go!"
Yeah.
You know, and she comes in, you're like, "Okay, I'm cool."
Yeah.
But like, I stay in that state constantly.
I feel that.
Constantly. Like,
Yeah.
just being like, I'll even have it at the bonfire. I'll be like, "Are me and Jacob gonna argue?" And then I show up and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Jacob?" And then everything's fine. And I'm like, well, I just wasted all that energy and that time prepping for a thing that didn't happen. And I think that's what it is. Like, social media, when you break it down, it can make you feel fucking crazy
Yeah.
in a way that you're like, I just saw.
fucks you up.
Yeah. Like, I don't care about one of my exes, and my girlfriend was like, "Oh, did you see so and so did that?" And I'm like, I don't care. And it's great
Yeah.
to be like, yeah, I genuinely don't care.
Yeah, please. I don't.
Because that's how they get you.
That's how
Where
they
they're
get you.
like, look at what this person's doing. The comparison.
All right, guys, let's take a quick minute and talk about one of our sponsors. It's rockauto.com. This is for auto mechanics as well as super cool do-it-yourself guys who work on their own cars. I want to tell you guys about rockauto.com, the online store with every auto part at the best prices. This is your one-stop shop for everything auto parts. RockAuto.com has been in business for 20 years, and they make it easy to find the parts that you need at the best possible prices. No more talking to counter guys who need to order your parts, aren't really sure what you're looking for, never have quite what you need, and then after all the hassle, will still charge you storefront markups. At rockauto.com, you could easily find everything you need, and whether you're a mechanic, an auto shop, or working on your own car, everybody has access to the same incredible pricing at rockauto.com. So if you're a car guy, right now, go to rockauto.com and check out all the parts they have available for your car. Trust me, you're going to have a blast looking at car parts. One more time, go to rockauto.com. No promo code needed because their pricing is already that good. When you order, just make sure you tell rockauto.com that you heard about them on Broad Topics podcast. rockauto.com. All right, let's get back into the show.
Social media is so poisonous.
But also for comics because we're so insecure. And then we're also braggadocious in the same moment. So you're like seeing your friends being like, killing it, can't be stopped. I just bought a car. And you're like, oh, I suck.
Yeah.
I fucking suck.
Yeah, and with comics, it is more than with anyone else, like a true competition of who has the most followers and who looks good on social media.
then when
And
you
so
don't
what
care.
you want to not, like you have to not care about it in order to engage with it without driving
You
yourself
know what
crazy.
I do?
Yeah.
I watch their act.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I don't know if I'd be that braggadocious about that
Yeah,
fucking.
it's never as good as the.
But then when
I
people
feel like
you
the better
believe
the
in-
social media, almost the worse the comic. Sometimes.
I would not argue that. I would not argue that. I have a company that runs mine. So I don't I'm completely
Yeah.
hands off.
Yeah.
So if you want to know what I'm caring about, it's comedy, like actually
Yeah.
doing it. But what I love about social media, the one thing I do like is when you have someone you believe in and you see them start to gain. Like I watched Nate. I was on the road with Nate for years. And Nate was in New York, one of the best comics. It's not a lot of people. And then like to watch it and be
Like how Shane Gillis. That
Shane.
happened. Yeah.
Shane's the exact Tim Dillon. All
Yeah.
the same thing where you're like, fucking.
I remember when I watched that happen to Tiffany Haddish. I
Yeah.
was like, holy shit.
Yeah. And you start to watch him blow up and you're like, go, 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 go,
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
go,
yeah.
go, go.
Go now, hurry.
Go, 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 go.
It's
And I'm like,
going.
I'm watching Shane hit 3 million on his YouTube special and you're like, yeah, he's one of the best comics out there. So this is awesome. I'm watching Nate become friends with Jay Cutler. Which I used to be his opener when Jay Cutler was on the Bears.
Yeah.
And Nate was like, he's my favorite football player. I love him more than anything.
I
love
love
that.
that.
So it is good. You can watch your friends do well.
I love seeing my friends do well.
But most of the time, that's not it.
You want to
No.
you want to see the people do well who want to see who are the people who want to see everybody else do well.
Yeah.
And then there's some people who are very transparently in it for themselves, and it's a lot less fun to watch them do well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you're not going to share this with anybody. I feel that way about Kevin Hart. I'm like, I know he shared it with some people, but I'm just kind of like, hey, you bug me.
Kevin Hart grabbed my thigh one time in the basement of a nightclub when I first started
Hashtag me too.
Got him.
being a
Wrap it up. G-Mike, cut it. We got him.
This is a
That was
clip.
the man.
SWAT team comes in. They
Go, go, go,
They
go, go,
start
go, go, go.
cutting at my legs to get the DNA.
Operation Soul Plane is in. It's in effect. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just, I mean, I'm sure Kevin Hart's a good dude. I'm just saying, like, you watch people like that and you're like, well, you got it all. So, like The Rock. I loved The Rock watching wrestling growing up. But now I'm like, I don't need you to see me. I don't want to watch you push Terramana down my throat. Like, he's like, hey, bro, and I got the mana from drinking this new tequila, bro. Cheers up to everybody. You know what's really funny? You know what's a really funny thing to do?
So good.
To see an ass kisser. This is a great thing to do. This is a game I play, and you can play along at home.
I will.
Whenever Joe Rogan posts about steak or meat, go see who likes it. And you're like, because it'll show you who you're following who likes it. And you're like, you fucking dorks. You're like in a rich man's steak post. You fucking nerd. You're like, that seasoning looks pretty on point, Papa Bear. It's like,
Rare. They always say about the temp. That looks juicy.
I hope you're
It's like,
embarrassed.
go get some.
I hope you're embarrassed. I hope you're fucking so embarrassed if you're actively like that
funny.
thirsty on social media.
That's so funny.
Where you're like, oh, dude, looks great. That looks like a great steak. You're not going to smell it. You're not going to taste it. It's just a rich guy being like, look at this cool meat I'm cooking.
Also, if you're not a food account, you shouldn't be posting your meal. Nobody cares what you're eating. It's so 2010 Facebook.
Yeah, a lot of people care.
I know.
So many
I know.
Also,
But
a lot of people that hate him care. I don't give a shit. I just think it's funny. I just think it's an indicator of ass kissery.
I just think it's crazy that anybody cares and that anybody has the ego of like, well, people are going to be really excited to see what my dinner is tonight. Like,
I'm not naming any names. I will say I was instructed by a comedian the first time I went to hang out with Rogan on how to speak around him.
Crazy. That's hilarious.
Not like Rogan sent that out and was like, this is how they speak around me.
But that's
someone voluntarily was like, this is how we do it.
I would be upset if I were Rogan and I found that out.
I think he would be upset.
I would be upset if I found out someone was like, here's how you come at Soder. Come at him in a wrestling voice.
It was like that.
And then he's going to disarm.
And I remember one of the first conversations I had with Rogan, I was like 22. This was so long ago. This was like 8 years ago. I was like 22 and we got hammered after the show and we started arguing about gun rights, me and Rogan. And we were into a whole debate and it was fun.
Sure.
And so that person pulled me aside and was like, you got to let this go.
I can't wait for the podcast to be over to name names because that is a weird thing. Because the thing I loved about coming up in New York was that if you got close to the people that you loved and respected or whatever, they would make fun of you.
Yes, nobody in LA will make fun of each other.
There was a thing of
when I went back to LA, there was like a whole table full of comics. It had been like a few months that I knew, and I was like, "What up, faggots?" And they were like,
"Oh."
They were like, "Wow, Kim, really?" Like that, and I was like, "Wow, what?"
One of my favorite things
What?
is I had been on the road with Bobby and I was like on his podcast and I wasn't in at the Cellar. I'd gotten in at like a bunch of clubs. This is like 2011, so I'm still drinking and I'm like, Bobby's at the Cellar and he's like, oh, a couple weeks before I'd been like, yeah, dude, I fucking told Esty about you. So she fucking knows about you, okay? Because he's like big brother in me. So I text him, I'm like, hey, you're going to be at the Cellar Friday night and I don't have any spots. And he's like, come by, dude, come by. And so I like come by on the early show and I had this like shitty leather jacket and I was obsessed with Tough Crowd. I was obsessed with Tough Crowd. I was obsessed with O&A. I knew all those guys. I had followed them. I loved Keith. I loved Jim, Colin, all those guys. I go to the Cellar and Bobby's sitting there and Keith sits down. And I had met Keith a couple times around through DeRosa, but I had never hung out with Keith. And Keith sits down. He's like, oh, Bobby, who's this fucker? I don't like him. I don't like his energy. And I was just petrified sitting at the table. He's like, I don't like his jacket, his dumb Nick DiPaolo starter kit. And he's like, shut up, dude. This is Dan Soder. He's my opener. He's going to try to go up. And he's like, I don't like his energy. Essy's going to sit down. And he's so nervous his head's going to explode. And they were just shitting on me. And then I had to sit down and Esty was like, you're going to do your audition at this time. And I was like, uh-huh. And the whole time they're like, you suck. And they're just like yelling at me. But that's kind of like a give and take of like, well, yeah, I want to get in at the Cellar. And then I love having my balls busted by these guys. It was awesome. It was like I've waited this my whole life.
One of the first times I ever met a bunch of the New York guys was on the Impractical Jokers cruise. And we were all sitting, you might have been here for this. We were all sitting, or I don't know if we went the same time.
No, we did different time because I did it with Nate and Jay. Yeah, I think you did the year before.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah. So it was like Voss and like a bunch of like the New York guys. They were all sitting around a table and I like came over and I just started dating Lewis. So I'm like coming over, I like sit next to Lewis. I like don't really know any of the comics. And Voss like turns over to me and he looks like so like he really wants to ask me this. And he's like, so yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. And I was like, oh. And as soon as I started talking, he goes, we don't care. And and I was like, I like it here. Like instantly, it made me feel so much better.
Yeah, dude, that was like always the funniest one where Bobby would be like, call me to yell at me because I bought the wrong plane ticket or whatever. And they'd be like, nah, dude, all right. So what are you doing tonight? And I'm like, well, and then the phone hung up. And you're like, fuck, all right, I'm a fucking idiot. Dude, my favorite moment of getting...
That's so
the best. Hanging up is the best.
The most scared I've ever been, and also one of the hardest I've laughed, was I got past at the Cellar, and I was just like enjoying it. I was going and watching shows, like the earlier show, because the lineups, and I was like, this is awesome. I can't believe I work. And I was like watching a show on the runners on the side, and Jim Norton came and was like, hey, come here. And I was like, well, all right. And I had done a podcast with Jim, but I hadn't done Opie and Anthony yet. So I was like, okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, whatever you want, dude.
He's like, come here, come upstairs, come to the table. And it was like him, Keith, Colin, Greg Rogel, and like one other person, and they sat me down and they're like, "So you open for Bobby, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "He's a bully," and I was like, "No, he's not a bully." And Keith was like, "Say it. This is a safe space. He's a bully, isn't he?" And I was like, "No, he doesn't bully me." And Colin was like, "You can tell us. It's okay if he's a bully." I'm like, "No, he's like yelled at me, but he's not." And like, oh, so he's yelled. And I'm like, no. But like once or twice he's probably bullied me.
Like a girlfriend,
Yeah, and I was
abused
like,
girlfriend.
No, but he loves me when he hits me.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, he's bullied me." And they're like, "I knew it." And they're like, blew up. And they're like, "He's a bully." And then Bobby is walking in, and they're like, "Bobby." Keith goes, "He just said you bully him." And Bobby's like, "What the fuck, dude?" And just like suck on me. And I was like, "No, I didn't fuck it." It was one of the scaredest. And then afterwards, I was like, "Man, that was awesome. That was awesome. I've been waiting
Fun
for that."
time.
That's the best.
Bobby Kelly's son was violently hitting on me last time I saw him.
He loves
Max.
you.
Max.
Good
He
job, Max.
loves
Yeah,
you.
I was like playing
they
around.
rolled jujitsu together.
Yeah, I was
and
trying to
he's
teach him jujitsu, and Max kept being like, when it's
just
my
not
turn,
even trying, just being like, sit
he
on
would
my
literally
face.
lay on the ground and be like, "I can't do it."
Oh my God.
And he was trying to get me to mount him over and over again. Over and over again.
God, I love Bobby's kid.
And then he would say things like, "Yeah, I just really like chicks."
Yeah, dude. He's Bobby's son. He's like, "Yeah, anyways, Dad, my dad's got a new drill saw. It's pretty cool." He
Kim, whenever we do jujitsu, can you like do that thing where you climb on me?
Yeah. Why don't you
like,
climb
dude.
on me? And you know what? Why don't we do shirts off, no gi? Just really learn how to grab each other. Yeah, I think that's like the LA thing is that city is so built on just people getting wild success that everyone's in the hunt for wild success. And in New York, I think everyone's tired of people. Everyone's like, "Yes, fucking what?"
You could see it in the difference in parties. Like the party energy in New York is like, should I even come? Should I even have come here? I'm kind of tired.
Everyone's just waiting it out to go home.
And
I'm like,
and the party energy in LA is like everybody waiting for this one specific, little bit more famous than them person to get there, so that they could all crowd around that person and have their 5 minutes of conversation.
I will tell you right now, and I won't name names either. There's been two big LA comedians that I've watched look through me to another more famous person and completely check out
Really?
mid conversation. I've watched one person go around me to say hello to the more famous person, and I was friends with that famous person, and that famous person was like, "Dan," and then the person that looked around me was like, "Hey," like I was like, "You won't be crashing any of my parties, you fucking phony."
That's so funny. I love that.
Yeah, that's so move here. That's what Alex and I are saying.
Yeah.
That's what the psychic said.
The psychic said I will be moving back here in the summer for 6 to 8 months.
Hell
There
yeah.
you go.
That's it.
All right. Well, Dan, thank you so much for coming to do the
I think you
pod.
sold me on psychics.
Yeah. I'll give you her contact.
That pregnant lady be damned. I hope that kid's okay.
Dan was so good on the podcast that we didn't ask him to take his anal temperature.
Oh.
What? You guys are doing anal temperature?
Yeah, we're trying to find the hottest ass at gas. Would you stick a thermometer in
No.
your ass? We think
No,
didn't
that's what
think
we
so.
thought. And you know what? You're the
Let me
one
tell you this
person we
right
weren't going to push on it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had a rectal thermometer since I was a small baby.
Jay and Lewis did.
Who
They,
had a
could,
hotter
they
ass?
couldn't fucking
Guess.
wait, by the way.
Lewis had a hotter butt.
Yeah, dude.
You
Lewis's
got
butt is
it.
fucking steamy.
You know your friends, man.
He got a steamy tush.
Harrington says he
100
keeps his
degrees
anger in it.
even.
100 degrees in that thing. Can you imagine how smelly and hot that is?
Yo, someone asked me to promote a show. Okay. Ooh.
We'll get you out of here. You got some
I
promoting to do.
didn't do it, and I was like, I just saw the text now, and I was like, I forgot to do it.
Oopsies. Yeah, they've got a hotter ass, and it's okay. You made the show great.
You guys are awesome.
We know it's probably up there in the 99s.
Shit, dude. If I had 104 temperature butt, I would go to the hospital. I'd go immediately to the hospital. I'd walk in, they go, "Why are you here?" I go, "I got a hot butt." And they go, "Are you feeling
Check it out,
anything?"
please.
I'm like, "No, not a thing."
Not a thing, but it is hot.
Scared. I'm so scared.
Where can people find you?
At Dan Soder on social media that I don't control. DanSoder.com for live dates. At the Bonfire SXM on Instagram. You can listen to the Bonfire Monday through Thursday. 5 to 7 on Faction Talk, and then download it as a podcast. They put it out as a podcast on Stitcher, which is awesome.
The Bonfire is what got me into comedy and got me working here for sure.
No
it was
shit.
the very first show that I listened to in this world.
Really? I always feel like it goes Legion of Skanks. They find out Jay does another show, and it goes to
No, what happened was I had gotten my first car with SiriusXM just as like the Comedy Central Radio started promoting Bonfire.
No
so that's
shit.
how I found the whole thing, and then went to Legion of Skanks from there.
Awesome.
Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
that's
really cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love that because I always like think I do better on Legion of Skanks than Bonfire because it's like, you know, when you're at your friend's
more-
house, you
yeah.
have more fun than at your own house. But I mean, I have a blast. at the
Hilarious.
Bonfire.
Okay.
But when I come on Legion of Skanks, I like don't owe anybody anything. So
Right.
I'm always like, if people found that, it's always interesting to see how they find it because I love both of it.
Hell yeah.
That's
Kim,
awesome.
you want to go next?
Yeah, of course. You guys can find me on Twitter at Kimberly Congdon, on Instagram at Kim Congdon. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/QueenCong1. I have a PC now. I'm streaming every day. Check it out. I'm going to start giving away some prizes from some sponsors. If you have Amazon Prime, you could subscribe for free. So check that out. And I have another podcast called This Bitch with Sarah Weinshank. Anywhere you find podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. And Alex, what about you?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Alex Scar. Also, check out Stick and Portly, watch Rick and Morty, my Rick and Morty watch-along show with Mike Harrington every Monday right after Legion of Skanks, only on gasdigitalnetwork.com/live. And if you love the network, use promo code TOPIX, TOPIX, for a free trial with access to every single episode on demand, bonus content, live chats, and more. Podcastmerch.com is where you can find our merch.
Yep.
Got a whole bunch of different shit. We got a style for everybody. If you like tie-dye, if you like black
drugs,
and white.
If you like drugs or nothing, we have that.
Yeah, we have drugs. We have nothing.
So check it out. Grab a shirt. Support us.
Hell yeah. And thanks for listening, everybody.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.